quote, the world finally knows the truth. That statement coming from writer E. Jean Carroll after she won her civil lawsuit against Donald Trump. A federal jury in Manhattan found that Trump sexually abused Carroll in a department store dressing room in the 90s and then defamed her by denying her claim. Trump has been ordered to pay Carroll $5 million, the former president reacting to the ruling.
It's crazy
on his social
that Trump is... this happened to Trump before it happened to fucking Bill Clinton. I had to change my pants. It's like cold in here now. Because the fucking aircon is out. And I'm making another fucking cuppa. That's right. I'm making another cup of coffee, lads. A cup of fucking Joe in it. Yeah. Sorry. Fucking hell. Trump is fucking gone.
platform. Listen to this.
What else can you expect from a Trump-hating, Clinton-appointed judge who went out of his way to make sure that the result of this trial was as negative as it could possibly be, speaking to and in control of a jury from an anti-Trump area, which is probably the worst place in the United States for me to get a fair trial. We'll be appealing this decision. It's a disgrace.
We should note it was an anonymous jury. Joining us now is E. Jean Carroll and her attorney, Roberta Kaplan. Welcome to CNN this morning. We're glad you're here.
Well, thank you for having us.
We'll all remember that you said, E. Jean, I'm trying to get my life back.
Yes.
I'm here to try to get my life back.
That was why. Yesterday I was such a happy woman. I felt like we had accomplished that.
I'm not gonna lie. 5 million is pretty solid. You know what I mean? Especially with Donald Trump and how many women haven't gotten shit. You know what I mean? 5 million, milk them. Milk them dry, ladies. Get everything you can out of them.
You did.
Yeah.
Talk about what you were thinking as...
Does he even have 5 mil? Yeah. Good question. I don't know. I don't know what Donald Trump's finances look like. It can't be good. He's got to be selling so much more NFTs. So many more NFTs for that one.
The jury's decisions were read off in your mind.
We were sitting there like this. Robbie's hand, it was like holding a block of ice. And we didn't have any idea what the jury was going to do. The former president is incorrect. The jury was not from Manhattan. Where was it from, Robbie?
Mostly Westchester and North.
Yeah. And 6 men, 3 women. His kind of jury, actually. And so when the verdict came in, she squeezed my hand so hard.
Let's get back to E. Jean Carroll.
I almost yelped, but it was a great moment.
What about when that first finding was found? This jury found that Trump did not rape you. What about that moment?
Robbie can explain the legal.
Sure, and I want you to, but I just wonder, E. Jean, what went through your head when you heard that?
Well, I just immediately say in my own head, oh, yes, he did. Oh, yes, he did. See, that's my response.
So look, New York law on sexual crimes like this is complicated, and it's not probably appropriate for morning viewers. But the truth of the matter is that sexual abuse, which he was found guilty of, is a very, very serious offense. I'm not going to get into the body part situation with you, but people go to jail for sexual abuse. It's a very serious offense. And most importantly, E. Jean brought this case because she wanted her name back. As you said at the very beginning, she got her name back, and the jury found that he lied. And he lied about her maliciously.
I don't think anybody was surprised by some of the stuff we heard from the former president last night. Obviously, you've addressed him talking about the jury. Another thing that he and his lawyers have often spoken about is the lack of disclosure about a big Democratic donor funding part of this case. Was there a reason it wasn't disclosed, and did you view this as political in any way?
No, I just completely forgot
Hillary?
that he even existed.
In your deposition?
She almost said Hillary.
Deposition.
Get him.
Because Trump lawyers have called that, Roberta, a sign of bias. It raises questions about the motives of bringing this case, and I wonder what the reaction is.
So every single witness, every one of those 11 witnesses who testified in this case, testified under oath and told the truth, not because they don't like Trump, but because it was the truth. That's what this case was about. who was telling the truth. The jury decided that E. Jean was telling the truth. And there may be witnesses who don't like Trump. There may have been jurors, as Joe Tacopina said in his opening, who don't like Trump. But that process was about the truth under the law, and that's what the jury found.
I don't want to make this a political conversation, but the kind of dissonance between the moment yesterday on the front pages of all the newspapers,
All of them.
the getting your life back, something you've been thinking about and going through for decades, and then at the same time looking over and seeing that that man is also the front runner for the Republican nomination for president, and you listen to Republicans who were asked about this yesterday,
so
and it's
lived
some
up,
version
dude.
of what we heard for 6 years prior. Don't want to talk about it, dodge, say there's something corrupt about the process. Well, how do you kind of reconcile that moment, I guess?
Here's how I reckon it. Yesterday, the old view of what the perfect victim looks like totally changed.
What do you mean?
The old view of the perfect victim was a woman who always screamed, a woman who immediately reported, a woman whose life was supposed to fold up and she's never supposed to experience happiness again. That was just shut down.
I'm so fucking cozy right now. This is sick. This is next level streaming, boys. I'm not even kidding. I mean, I don't know why people don't do this more often. Just streaming from the bed like this. Oh my God. Oh my God. What if I fell asleep? Just casually. Just casually fucking fell asleep, dude. I was like, yeah, sorry, jet lag's killing me. Peace. And just, I'm so cozy. I'm so cozy. The vibes are pretty good. The vibes are pretty immaculate right now. You know, this Donald Trump case got settled. All right, let's keep going.
With this verdict. The death of the perfect victim has happened. Now, this verdict is for all women. This is not really about me. It's for every single woman.
There, in the courtroom, was an encounter, an exchange between you and the president's lawyer, Joe Tacopina. Mm-hmm. He came up, you shook hands, I believe. What did he say?
Well, Joe Tacopina is very likable. He's sort of like an 18th century strutting peacock. And people like him. So when he sticks out his hand to first he congratulated Rob.
First of all, she's right. Joey Tacopina, hey. How you doing, E.G.? How you doing? Fuck you. Hey, he should have done one of these. He should have been like, hey, how you doing? Fuck you. Hey, I'm Joey Tacopina. How you fucking doing? I'm the greatest Italian lawyer in New York, New Jersey, Connecticut. Fuck it, Delaware over here. You know what I'm saying? Hey. Joey Tacopina hasn't won a case in his life.
Robbie. And then he was congratulating people on the team. And as I put my hand forward, I said, he did it, and you know it. And then we shook hands, and I passed on.
Did he say anything in response?
No, he's a hail fellow well met. He went on shaking hands and smiling.
The response you got afterwards, you making the point, this is for all women. I think that there were a significant number of women who were certainly behind you in the case.
Bro, they're trying so hard. CNN is trying so hard to just, cut 10 minutes out of this. It is honestly admirable watching them just oh yeah, this verdict is not just for you, but for all women. It's like they're so, God, I love liberal television sometimes. This is one of my favorite types of liberal TV. Just gloat, man. Let her fucking pop off. You should pop off too. We all know what the real reason for your interest in this particular matter is. It's not oh my God, justice has been served here, ma'am. I don't think anybody gives a shit about that that much. This is yet again like one of those circumstances where like Donald Trump is getting his comeuppance, but in like a lighter offense. You know what I mean? Like, if I'm not mistaken on the details, he like her original. Okay, I have to sit up for this. Her original assessment of the situation is like, or what she said was that he was like trying to cop a feel, right? Which is like, you know, depending on which jurisdiction you're in, it's sexual assault or battery or, you know, sexual abuse, right? That's what happened. Overall, I feel like, are you wearing shoes in bed? No. What are you, crazy? I would never do that. No, I got socks on.
In the case, in the hours since, I don't think you've had a lot of time to check your phone or calls or emails. What's the response been, given what you were laying out in terms of the perfect victim being shattered?
There are no words. There are no words. I just now saw the headlines. I'm really sort of taking in the moment and the overwhelming flood of a lot of hate. That's part of it.
Donald Trump
But
un
an
ein
overwhelming amount
Sexmonster.
of relief and joy and at feeling of at last, and the surge of, there's a sort of a feeling of victory that at last somebody has held him accountable in a courtroom, thanks to Robbie Kaplan. So it's such a mash of overwhelming emotions. It's hard to put into words.
What about appeals? We heard the president say they'll appeal. Our Paula Reed, with her brilliant legal analysis on the program earlier, talked about that. This is a tough appeal to make. And what would the grounds be when the Trump team didn't present a defense and he didn't step foot in that courtroom?
Yeah. So
Your perspective?
You heard Donald Trump on the tape say that the judge here, Judge Kaplan, no relation to me, went out of his way to be unfair. Actually, the opposite is true. Judge Kaplan in this case went out of his way to be fair to Donald Trump. He gave him multiple opportunities to show up in that courtroom and testify, and Donald Trump decided not to. There are no issues in this case on appeal. They'll make them, but there are no serious issues on this appeal.
How are you going to appeal? Right. How are you going to appeal when you didn't show up and offer like any sort of counter testimony? That's a wild, I mean, I don't know. He's just claiming. No relation to Judge Kaplan, my ass? What does that mean?
If Trump had come into, well, first, do you wish he had come?
Yeah, I do.
And what would you have said to
I
him?
would have loved to have seen Robbie put him on the stand. Loved it. I just would have loved it. If you've seen any portions of the deposition, that was Robbie doing the question.
We have.
It would have been a glorious moment. However, I think he was frightened. I think he was frightened. I think he was frightened of her.
What's next? I mean, this has to be an all-consuming.
I'm going to go get a dog for my dog, because so he needs somebody to play with, so I'm going to get a dog. I'm going to go to the pound, get a nice dog for my dog.
$5 million. Are you going to see it?
Oh, you know what? I was even unaware of how much it was. Robbie had to tell me, this is not about the money. Not about the money. This is accomplishing something that I set out to do many years ago, is to get my name back. And that's what we did.
But you will see it.
That's what I was going to ask you next.
That's a lawyer.
I promise you that Eugene will see each and every penny of that $5 million.
Can I end on something that I think is really important in all of this? And it's the fact that New York passed this law.
Yeah.
The Adult Survivors Act. They passed it just a few years ago. Were it not for that law, you never would have been able to bring this case. And I just think it speaks to the importance for a lot of other survivors.
Exactly. I would never have this window, this year of having the ability to bring a lawsuit for rape. Robbie can explain it better.
Well, EJ actually helped to get that law passed. It passed last year. We filed, it was Thanksgiving Day, was the first day you could sue. We filed just after midnight on Thanksgiving. And there are a lot of other women throughout this state and hopefully throughout this country that they will get other laws like this passed in other states. And New York women should use this law while it's still around, which is until next Thanksgiving.
Yeah, because there's a reason women stay silent. They're ashamed and they're frightened and they're worried about their kid. This law gives us that 1 year window. It's a brilliant law.
E. Jean Carroll, Roberta Kaplan, thank you.
Thank you guys.
Thank you. Thank you.
Very unfair law.